It's Radio Saorsa. Since the launch of the Alba party, we have seen some of the most incredibly negative campaigning on the part of the Scottish National Party and its activists in the entire history of the campaign for independence since 2014. To date, Nicola Sturgeon has led an extremely moderate response to unionist campaigning, verging on the utterly pathetic. Rather than develop a proper response to the lies and distortions of the British media in Scotland, the SNP has been mired for more than 6 years in an endless game of putting out the fires started by the British government-aligned media and its outriders. Rather than addressing this massive problem, the SNP simply employed the author of The Vow as its so-called spin doctor. The Scottish National Party has revealed itself to be nothing but yet another bourgeois political party representing its own particular socio-economic constituency. And this constituency is, of course, the Scottish business community, the constituency of the moneyed class. Sure, as they always remind us, there are many working class people who support the SNP, and there are even working class MSPs and MPs, but this doesn't change the fact that this is not a party for the working class. Like the Conservatives of old and every other unionist party in Scotland, the SNP merely uses and manipulates working class voters in order to secure its place in the order of things. Like every other bourgeois party, the SNP will give working people just enough to keep them happy, but never enough to actually change the conditions of their lives. Working class people have always voted against their interests. It's easier to fool people than to show them they've been fooled. Nicola Sturgeon knows as well as anyone else that her position and power depend on Scotland remaining part of the Union. As a shrewd political operator, she understands that if she is to deliver independence, it must be an independence that benefits Scotland's moneyed elite over and against the interests of ordinary working people. Yet she also understands that the promise of independence offers her an alternative route to power, and so she dangles this promise of independence before the electorate as a carrot and nothing more. As has always been the case in Scotland and in every part of the United Kingdom, working class people are reduced to instruments as means to the ends of those in power. Regardless of the number of working class people in the SNP or who vote for the SNP, their importance to Nicola Sturgeon and to the leadership of the Scottish National Party is little more than their value in votes. Working class expression, working class ambitions and working class voices mean absolutely nothing to the SNP. These are nothing more than annoyances in the way of its own selfish ambitions. All of this, more than anything else, explains the ferocity of the SNP's attacks on Alba, another pro-independence party. Still, no matter what Nicola Sturgeon or any other member of the SNP has to say about Alba, or indeed about Alex Salmond, the reality is that Alba would simply not exist had the SNP delivered on its promise to pursue the cause of Scotland's independence. But let's take a short commercial break.
Well, we did it. We sealed the bad out and the good in. Take a second and look around you. Go ahead. We have everything we've always wanted. We'll want for nothing.
Excuse me. I really love it here.
Thank you.
We have all these beautiful avocados from Mexico, but where are the chips?
I'm sorry?
Oh, the chips. The chips are outside.
Why are they outside?
The chips are outside!
I want a Chris Elliott autograph. Hi.
Wait! Please, avocados taste great on lots of things. See? Avocado toast. We can still make this work.
Oh, Wi-Fi's down.
No.
Avocados from Mexico.
Welcome back. So Nicola Sturgeon says that the Alba party is nothing but the political realisation of Alex Salmond's ego. But what a truly nonsensical statement this is. All politics is ego. It's Nicola Sturgeon's ego we see on display every time she tweets about the magnificent and intellectually stimulating novels she's reading. It's Nicola Sturgeon's ego we see on display when she shares on social media about the latest woman-owned business she has patronised. It's Nicola Sturgeon's ego we see on display every time she pulls out a dagger for Alex Salmond. In politics, people vote for people, not ideas. All politics is ego. But the nature of the attacks she and her party are making on Alba are interesting and deserve at least some discussion. SNP staffers, apparatchiks and activists, especially that cohort from Stirling University, have taken to characterising Alba and its supporters as reactionaries, as bigots and racists, as right-wing and misogynistic dinosaurs. These are all easy charges to make, but which are less easy to substantiate, a favourite tactic of the Conservative Party. This was exactly the trick the SNP MSP Mary Todd attempted to pull on me in collaboration with the Daily Mail newspaper when I was described as an anti-Semite for my, quote, abhorrent opinions on the state of Israel. Quoting a number of Israeli and Jewish academics, including Noam Chomsky and Shlomo Sands in an article, I had described how the Israeli government uses a fictive narrative of the Holocaust in order to delegitimise the Palestinian cause for statehood. This was low-hanging fruit, irresistible to the third-rate intelligence that is Miss Todd, and she and her friends in the Daily Mail leapt on it as an example of my anti-Semitism. She didn't have much luck with that, however, as, unbeknownst to her, I lecture on the Holocaust and have published a number of peer-reviewed articles on Auschwitz and the murder of the Hungarian Jews in particular. Not being an anti-Semite and a Holocaust denier is an integral part of my job. The SNP pulled, or attempted to pull, the same stunt with Grousebeater and failed miserably, and to this day has failed to make a full apology to either of us. But it will be a cold day in hell before any such apology is forthcoming. Such actions require a degree of self-reflection entirely absent from the power-hungry clowns in the SNP. So right now, while the SNP expends all of its energies and directs all of its ire at Alba, and not at the unionists it should be trying to remove from the Scottish Parliament, we have to take everything they say with more than a pinch of salt. If being right-wing means wanting Scottish independence, if this is in fact the definition of right politics, then I would welcome a little more of this flavour of right-wing politics from the Scottish National Party and from Nicola Sturgeon. But because they are neither hot nor cold, I will be spitting them right out of my mouth. Thanks for listening. As always, remember to like and subscribe.